Hey guys, welcome back to Passive Money. My name's Alex. That's Kirby over there. Today we're going to be doing a reaction video for Reaction Wednesday. Check this video out.
Slavery's not gone anywhere, right? So the old school idea of slavery, let's talk about slavery. A government would get slaves, make them work for free. That's slavery. So what do? Now they get people, make them build things for money, but the government print all the money. So if a government can create as much as they want of something from thin air, and you'll give up your life for this thing they can create from thin air as much as they want, you are still their slave.
So Kirby, what do you think about what Andrew had to say on being a slave in today's society?
I like the video because I understand where his mindset comes from. Of course, people are going to hear the message and they're going to worry about how he said it, not what he said. What he said is, you're a slave to the matrix. And what I mean by slave to the matrix, or as he was referring to, slave to the matrix, is you're working and you get a set amount. You get a set amount, and then you set your life up compared to the set amount you make. But then, as we've seen in the last 3 years, you have the federal government, and you could have, all the education you did, all the work you've put in, and all that, tenure and stuff you have at any particular job. You see in the last 2 years, the government printed more money to give people stimulus checks. You saw the government print more money to give people enhanced unemployment. And for most cases, those people that think they got, a good paying job at $15 an hour, it was people that was literally sitting on unemployment making way more money than they did, doing nothing. So in all that, you're working, and you're still in this system that really the money is free for the government to print it. Of course, yeah, the government will have to borrow debt and then put it on taxpayers for years and years later. But for the current generation, it really means nothing in a whole. And people are just splurging and running through money and you're just working to try to, you know, grasp grasp more of a fiat currency that's all it is fiat, meaning it's only worth what somebody agrees that is worth. It's not like you're working for bars of gold, bars of silver, or something that retains its value. You're working for something that, for all intents and purposes, something that can be created out of thin air.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on it?
No, it's all truth to what he said. Like he explained back then, slavery was enforced, people weren't paid as slaves, but today there, as he said, there's no difference when you're working for a currency that can just be easily as printed. I mean, it's in a sense valueless, even though you can exchange that currency for, say, goods. There's constant inflation and you have to continue to go back to work for that same currency to maintain your life, your lifestyle, or maintain just living expenses in general. And I think it goes back to like that quote where cash is trash, but cash flow is king, where if you are investing in assets or you have money invested in true money, whether that be real estate or shares in companies or your own business or something that's providing you an income where you're not having to work for that money, but your money is working for you in a sense, or you have other people, uh, like within your real estate, your tenants that are going to work and they're paying you. You're not having to exchange your time, which I think time being the most valuable currency, for that dollar or for a currency. It's you've exchanged your time for enough currency to invest it into something that will continue to pay you for the rest of your life. And in that sense, you're not a slave, but maybe your assets are slaves to you in a sense where you've created, a cash flow system within your life to where you don't have to continue to go back to work and operate as a company slave.
And I agree with you there. And a lot of people, because it's Andrew Tate, I mean, I know that's taboo in the social media sphere. it's the messenger that's saying it. That's the thing that's going to turn a lot of people off. But I don't care the messenger that's saying it. I don't care how he says it. I care about the context of what he said.
Right.
And the context of what he said is if you're in that system where it's 100% dependent on what is dependent on you trading time for money or you trading time for leisure or whatever, because you know you gotta get a job and then get a job and then you get vacation or whatever, then you are a slave to the system. The system was set up to keep you hunkered down, plastered, and focused on, hey, I'm gonna spend 40 to 50% of my time. And I'm saying 50% of my time because I'm saying 8 hours in a day, then you got 8 hours of leisure, then you got, 8 hours of sleep. But so you spend 50% of your time. I mean, the other 8 hours, of course, sleep. But so you spend 50% of your, live active time working. And then most people, they live their live active time, 50% of their life, really, just to get by, just to get by. And when you say you're a slave to the system, of course, I'm not, comparing today to slavery or anything like that on how hard it was. But what I'm saying is, time wise, the slaves itself, they work, they work, they work, they work, they work. There was no real comeuppance, meaning that's like an old South term saying getting over. There's no big comeuppance of, hey, now I didn't work all this time, so now I can, go free myself or whatever, or go do stuff for my family. It's they work, 10, 12, 18 hours a day just to eat, sleep, and do it all again the next day. And that's what most people in the world, I mean, especially Western society, is doing. They work, work, work to fall asleep, to wake up to do it again, to pay the bills, to do it again, to pay a car payment, to do it again, to pay a mortgage payment, do it again. And that's the only thing they have to show for life. And that, I don't know if people look at it as, oh, that's a show of my wealth because I can pay bills and go to sleep and wake up. That's just a show of the same thing. They just repeated the system itself. But again, I know a lot of people don't like uh Andrew Tate. They don't like him because of the person he is. I mean, I know he's been, blackballed and stuff like that, but the message that he's saying is absolutely correct.
Right.
Now, if you care about the person who delivered the message, that's on you. But what he's saying is absolutely correct. And if you follow anything about him, he talks about building wealth, and he had the casino thing going, he had the online ventures going of himself, and he was delivering streams of revenue that will keep producing over and over and over again without him having to do work himself personally. And then that's what we, talk about on this channel is finding ways to build streams that you're not 100% dependent on that 9 to 5, the W-2 job that's going to make you work, 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 sleep, wake up to work, work, work again, and you never see any headway with what you're doing. And so, all in all, I believe what he said is true. No matter who the messenger is, I believe what he said is true.
Yeah, and it should show people the significance of investing, whether you're investing your time into something that's going to produce you more income passively, or if you're investing your money into something that's going to produce you income over saving. Because as he said, the government can print as much money as they want, and it's a
Right.
fact. So for those that save money beyond the necessity of, say, for an emergency fund,
Right.
um, continuing to save money, it's never going to outpace inflation, and you're just saving a dollar that the government can continue to print beyond what you can save. And Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about that. I forgot what it was, but it's like the government prints, how much is it? Like 10 billion a day or something like that? Like an insane
Easily,
amount of
easily.
money. Yeah. And there's no way, I mean, the average individual can save 10 billion a day. So,
I mean, you just look at a couple things. Look at the savings rate right now. If you save money right now, and everybody know the Fed, their target is 3% inflation. That means they want prices to go up 3% year over year. So if a pair of uh let's just say a pair of Jordans costs $100 this year. The federal government wants it to be $103 next year, right?
right.
But of course, we know inflation is higher than that. It's like 8.6 or whatever, and probably could go higher. But if you put that same $100 in a savings account, and it's going to get you 70 cents on the year, it's not 3%, 70 cents. So you put $100 in a savings account now. At the end of the year, or end of 365 days, you have $170. 100, no, excuse me, not 170, $100.70. But the same pair of Jordans that cost $100 today, and I don't know what Jordans cost, but the same Jordans that cost $100 today, if you waited a year and bought them, they will be $103. So that same $100 today will not be the same $100 it is a year from now if you put it in a savings account. They're not even, making it beneficiary to even save money. But people, that's the only thing they know is save a little bit, and then their money is depreciating over time. And the government is just printing money on top of it, print money on top of it. And then that's why the banks are not giving people interest, a high enough interest rate for even saving cash at all.
Not to mention, once you buy those Jordans, the item itself depreciates as well. Now it's a used pair of Jordans. So,
No, you about to get the sneakerheads to be upset and be like, "Oh no, if I flip these sneakers, they'll make a
yeah,
big profit."
yeah,
But in all, in the money scheme of it, if you wear it, it becomes depreciative. It depreciates just like a car, just like a mobile home, just like mostly anything. If you're not buying an asset that produces you income after you buy it, it is a depreciating asset, including the home that you live in. And that's something that I believe it's a big misunderstanding from yesterday's generation to today's generation. And the reason why I believe is because like the baby boomers teaching the Gen X's or Gen Y's or Gen Z's, I don't know which order they fall in, but the baby boomers, when they saved money back in the 70s and 80s, their savings rate was 4 or 5% on saving. And then so everybody said, "Oh, save money," but they didn't understand the correlation with saving money was dependent on the interest rate that the bank will provide them for saving their money. Back then, it was 4 or 5%, maybe higher than that. Back in the 70s and 80s, but right now it's 0.70% on a savings account. So if you take the same advice from the people that were saving back in the same 70s, 80s, and you do it now, yeah, you have cash saved, which is better than what most 80, 90% of people doing now, just as they quote unquote blow the bag. But it's not going to do you, it's not going to give you headway to say you can do much else as far as purchasing power unless you invest in the money than it was if you just spend it.
yep. Well, guys, if you like this video, hit the like button. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. What your thoughts are on the video, on what we talked about. And don't forget to share and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video.